All right, man. So we have an injured goalie. We have a COVID positive coach, and our team hasn't played together 100% of the starters. Are we already starting off on the wrong foot when it comes to the Avalanche? I don't know. But I guess we'll talk about that.
The numbers are blue.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Chris Maselli. And joining me, as always, on Fridays is the Shaggy Von Doom himself, Mr. Kyle Sullivan. How's it going today, Kyle?
Too blessed to be stressed and too dumb to know the difference.
All right. I have to figure that out, but it sounded good, so we'll roll with it. But thank you for making this your first listen of the day. It is always greatly appreciated. On today's episode, the Avalanche are playing right now as we speak. They're down 2-0. It's the second intermission. I got to be honest, didn't really tune into this one through altitude and Connor McGahey, but it doesn't really seem like things they're not really doing too much by the look and sound, or by the sound of it. But we'll discuss it because there are things to discuss. Pavel Francouz, we have an injury update on him. Jared Bednar is COVID positive, so he will be out for at least the last two preseason games. And the fact that this team hasn't played as a unit, and when I say that, I mean their starters, the guys that are going to be there day one. The fact that they haven't done that at any point in this preseason so far, is that a problem? So we'll get to all of that and then some. But first things first, follow the show on social media outlets. LOPN_Avalanche on Twitter, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. Questions, comments, concerns, opinions, go to lockedonavalanche@gmail.com. And follow the show's YouTube stream over on YouTube, which we are doing right now. And of course, we are always a Mark Mosier and Peter McNabb friendly podcast. They are the best in the business. So we got that out of the way, and doesn't need to be said anymore. All right. Francouz, I mean, it's one of those things. We know everybody's talked about it in Avalanche land. It was even one of the 5 burning questions that I brought up in the burning questions week. Can they stay healthy? And you would have liked to just get your first injury of the season. And that sounds very odd saying that. You don't want any injuries, obviously, but you'd have at least liked to get maybe the month of October out of the way before you finally got an upper or lower body injury. And we're in the preseason. And not only is it like our first injury, but it's to a guy who's coming back from a season-long injury who you are going to rely on. I mean, he's not your ace goalie, but he is going to be relied on. And so Pavel Francouz out 3 to 4 weeks. The little bit I did listen to the game that's being played right now, Connor McGahey, trying to find the positive in everything. And I'm that type of guy too. I really am. And when he said, he didn't announce it, like, people knew. He goes, but if you don't know, and he said he's out 3 to 4 weeks, he goes, so think of that as a good thing. It's a guy who was out for an entire season, and the injury that he's got is not related to that injury that put him out for a full year. And he's only out 3 to 4 weeks. Silver lining and everything. Is that how you look at it? Or is it, man, we're already starting with the injury bug?
I mean, the injury bug really got started for us. I mean, it was 2 years ago. A butt took out Grubauer in the outdoor game.
Yeah.
And it's been downhill since then. It's been just fluky stuff. Like EJ was weird last year. Like Francouz, you thought he was going to be right there and then never touched the ice. And now this year,
Calvert couldn't seem to, and he's, he had concussion issues. I get that. But it just seemed like with Calvert, it was, oh, he's coming back. And then he'd come back for a day or a game or two. And then he was out again. And it was like, just, if there was an injury to be had, and experienced, it seems like the Avalanche have crossed all those bridges.
And we really needed Francouz to really try to be healthy this year, because we've talked about it before. Darcy Kemper is known to be injury prone, and that's his biggest downfall, is completing a season.
Yeah.
So if this is his year where we're it's juggling who's hurt, who's like not, is that how we're deciding 1A, 1B? It's not how
God,
I
I hope
wanted
not.
to. That's not what I want between the pipes this year.
No, that's not how you want to decipher who's your starting goalie, and the Avalanche aren't doing that. They're not there right now, but you know that's a question on the whole for the Avalanche. It's a question. If you want to zero it in and say where is the biggest concern on injuries, yeah, it's goalies. And the odd thing is here, like I've watched that Kemper
Yeah.
or not Kemper, I'm sorry, the Francouz injury over and over again. I can't find exactly where or what happens to him. The only thing I can think of is his skate comes in contact with the post, but he wasn't shifting his weight so much and so fast, and the net didn't give way and it would have jammed something. I didn't see that was the case. So maybe he just twisted wrong. I don't know. That this is where I hate getting like lower body and upper body. I wish we have a little bit more detail on it, but it is what it is. He you know, I couldn't see anything with the naked eye to say like, oh, it's a groin, it's a a knee or an ankle or something like that.
Isn't that also how he went down in the bubble when we had to rely on Hutchinson? Wasn't it one of those that you look back on the replay 2 or 3 times and couldn't figure out why Francouz went down, and we had to eventually rely on Hutchinson?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact. I'm trying to play it through in my head, but it was yeah, it wasn't something where it didn't seem like he got touched or anything like that.
Yeah, because
But he
Grubauer went cross crease, and that's where he hurt himself.
right,
And
or maybe a group.
Francouz, and we couldn't figure out what happened to him, and Hutchinson ended up taking us as far as he could, but
Right. Yeah.
and of course, like you said, the quote unquote LBI, the lower body injury, you
Mhm.
don't really know what happened. All you saw was his foot touching the post and just sliding back, but it didn't look like anything a normal human wouldn't do.
The way that he kind of like threw his upper body like backwards, it looked like he was stuck.
Yeah.
It looked like his skate was somehow stuck underneath the net or something to that effect. But I don't think that. I mean, that wasn't the case. It was just he was just in pain,
Yep.
and I think that was his way of showing like he was in pain. Whatever it is, I mean, he's out 3 to 4 weeks. I'm I'm sorry, but it's like just because of all the injuries that we've suffered over the past number of years, I'm in the mindset of even after 3 to 4 weeks,
Yeah.
I got to see him play.
Yeah.
I got to see him play, and I got to see him, get solid games in under his belt because I'm just waiting for it to happen again.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
good.
not good at all. And
No.
you looked on the replay for when he pushed off, because the referee wouldn't blow the whistle.
Mm,
You looked for him to put any kind of weight on that leg, but he just was dragging it. So anything
mm.
in that, I don't know if it's a high ankle sprain. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but
Or on a podcast.
or on a podcast or on YouTube. But
Yeah. But he did
he just
skate off though.
he
He
did. That's what I'm
did.
saying. So I don't know if it was like a serious cramp and pulled something, tweaked something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's my favorite thing to do in preseason is play doctor, apparently.
Yeah. Now, I mean, obviously this puts a lot more pressure on Kemper.
Yeah.
So and right now he's given up 2 goals in the Dallas game. I mean, we're not hitting panic button or anything like that, but at least I'm not. I mean, you're looking at me like maybe you are. I don't know. I hope you're not.
Well, it's definitely not what you want to start the year with. And if
No,
this is
no.
going to be what we have to know with Francouz, yeah, this might be a problem because we know what we're getting in Kemper, and we know we're not getting a full season out of Kemper, win, lose, or draw, because of his health issues already.
Right.
So if every time we put
Well, I mean,
Francouz out there, you don't know if you're getting a full game. Panic button.
yeah, I don't know. But here's like, I'll go Connor McGahee and silver lining on this. Like, we never got a full season out of Grubauer. And it wasn't until last year that he finally put and he even missed some time at the end of last year, but he finally like put a full overall healthy season together. Maybe we'll get that out of Kemper finally this year. I mean, he needs to show that he can do that. But is it concerning right now that, yeah, he's given up 2 goals to Dallas. I haven't seen the goals, so I don't know if, he should have stopped them, or if they, were just, pretty goals by Dallas. I don't know. But is it, his preseason so far has been kind of pedestrian. He's only played in 2 of them. I don't know if he'll play in the 3rd one or the last one. But it is a concern right now, even though it's preseason, because not a concern of how he's playing. I have no problem. I feel he's going to play okay, but let's just say he gets off to kind of like a sluggish start. And this is where Francouz would come in and give him a reprieve for a game, just to take a seat, relax, just watch this one and come back the next day. You can still do that, but who's it going to be? Is it going to be Jonas Johansson? I don't know, which, he did good last year, but still has a lot to prove. So Avalanche are in a tough spot right now if they get off to this slowish starts and just need to, bring someone in to give Kemper just a seat for a game.
Yeah.
So we shall see. All right. But now on a bigger scale, the team, this team is a lot of youngsters have played, and that's a good thing for them, but is a bad thing overall. But first, we're going to talk about Get Upside, and it's an incredible new app that everyone can get because it's available on both the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. And I've seen your car. You still got that
Herbie?
sweet little Herbie driving around, right? Yeah,
Sure do.
that thing needs some fuel, right? So you can go download the Get Upside app, and you can use the promo code hockey, and you will get 25 cents per gallon extra on your first fill up. So for every gallon of gas that you pump and you use the promo code hockey instead of 25 cents, you'll get 50 cents cash back. So don't pay full price at the pump anymore. You can get cash back using Get Upside. Once again, that promo code is hockey for 50 cents a gallon cash back on your first tank. And there are some people out there who are making as much as $200 to $300 a month in cash back. And there is no catch. The cash gets added right to your bank account, and you can cash out at any time, direct to your bank account or a PayPal account, or you can even get an e-gift card to Amazon and other brands. So once again, download the free Get Upside app. Use the promo code hockey for an extra 25 cents to make it 50 cents per gallon on your first tank of gas. All right. So, like we're saying, the team that's out there right now is not like we're getting like these mixes of lines. Sure, they've practiced together, and sure they've played, 5 or 6 years together, however long, but Mikko Rantanen, Gabe Landeskog, and Nathan McKinnon have not played a shift together in a preseason game. Cale Makar has not played a single shift in a preseason game. Sam Girard is playing now. I think this is his first game played. Tyson Jost is playing now. I think this is his first game played as well. So you have all of these mixing and matching, and I get it because the Avalanche have a lot of players that they have to look at and so few spots to fill. But was that the way to go about it? Because I'm almost preparing myself for the Avalanche to start off a little bit slow because of this. We don't know what the last game of their preseason, which is against Dallas again, we don't know what that squad is going to look like. We have been told by Jared Bednar, who we will get to later, obviously, that Cale Makar is ready to go. He said before this Dallas game that he could play in the final 2 preseason games, but will definitely play in at least one. He's not playing right now. so he's going to only have one game preseason. Is this a concern? Like, we played a Vegas team that those guys are out there all the time. Like, Vegas is going to be ready to roll on day one. I don't think the Avalanche are. Yeah, they're professionals, and yeah, like I said, Miko and those guys, like Miko and Nate, they're always on the same page. But the beginning of any season, it takes time. And I just hope it doesn't take a lot of time for the Avalanche, because you're going to be upsetting a fan base if you can't get off to a good start. A lot of people are going to be throwing out accusations which shouldn't be warranted, but they're going to do it. Where do you stand on what the Avalanche are doing and how they're handling the preseason?
My hand's still on the panic button for those keeping score at home. Yeah, I think we're a little too cute and confident when it comes to cycling in these new players and keeping these lines weirdly staggered. We talked about it many times last year, especially in the playoffs, and it was evidential when we got knocked out by Vegas. This is an emotional team. They ride the emotional highs, and when there are lows, they hit the lows. And the last thing we need to do is start on ESPN against the Blackhawks and lose and get embarrassed. And everyone's first look at the Colorado Avalanche that everybody talks about, that picks to go to the Stanley Cup, gets embarrassed. That's going to get in Nathan MacKinnon's head. And here we go. I get, yes, we have depth. We have a lot of young talent that we'd like to see. But, that's good in the first 2 or 3 games. But you need to start working on cohesion, and the players that you feel like are going to make the roster need to see that top line in action and have Nathan MacKinnon barking in their ear every time they hit the bench.
Right.
So I think we're a little bit too spoiled with our depth, and we're getting too playful with what we can do. And I think we need to start getting ready for the season. And if we're having this much problems like putting together a team, there might be a problem there.
I mean, what the Avalanche are doing is not new. Like, a lot of teams will do this. And it's a long season. And I think the Avalanche are playing for that, for knowing that, yeah, we have 82 games to play. We'll be just fine over the course of a season. But for me, like, yeah, I always want my team to get off to a good start. And I just feel like, yeah, you have a lot of youngsters to take a look at. And if you could have just, for these last 2 games, played if you still have a guy that you're on the fence with 1 or 2 guys, then put them out there to see what they can do for these last couple games. But I don't know, man. Like, I kind of I would have loved to have at least 2 solid games in the preseason where everybody, you kind of like, at least like your top 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And have those guys ready to go as best they can. But on the flip side, you can say, like, yeah, these guys have played together for so long. They just need a period. Game 1, after 20 minutes, they'll be back, kind of in their regular mode and in their regular flow. And they could be that good of a professional hockey player where, yeah, that they don't need games to get back in like a cohesive state. I don't know. It and that very well could be the case. I'm just saying, like, from the outside looking in, it just scares me. Like, I might be just, talking about this and it's much ado about nothing, but I just wish I would have seen, because it hasn't been a good preseason in terms of, you know what I mean? Like,
and
yeah.
If you think, like, to pull a line from the great prophet Lee Corso, like, not so fast, my friend, they
Right.
might be comfortable together. But if we can remember the last time we saw this Avalanche team together, they were invisible. And what concerns me was the first time we've seen Nathan MacKinnon this year, he's invisible.
He was nowhere. Yeah.
So
and he could just be out there getting his, legs, and he's not going to put up 125% in a preseason game. I get all that too.
But you also want, we talked about it at the beginning with health already being a problem with the team. And it goes all the way up with health. You want to get as many wins as you possibly can with your healthy team. because you're going to lose pieces through 82 games.
Yeah.
That's just going to happen. And you want to get off to a hot start and bank those wins while everybody's healthy for when you can give yourself a little bit of a cushion. When you start losing those pieces, you're not do or die on these games and it's must win. Or if we can win 2 or 3, Nathan will be back next week. Or you don't want to be in those situations. You want to win while you have your team together and put yourself I mean, it's a marathon. This isn't a sprint.
Right.
We don't have a short season this year. This is a marathon.
Right.
And you got to get your wins while you can.
I kind of feel like if the Avs have been playing well in the preseason, we might not even be talking about this right now. I'd be like, oh yeah, like we're so good. Our prospects are plowing through the preseason. But there's been a few moments here and there where the prospects have looked good. But overall, it's been a struggle this preseason. The Avalanche haven't really been dominating. And so because of that, I think I would be like, all right, we got to change the plan here in these last couple of games. We're going to put our stars in and the majority of who we know we're going to play. And we're going to play our game. We're going to play how we are going to play in the regular season because it hasn't been going well. But I think that the coaching staff for the Avs, they're not looking at it that way. They're looking at it as so some toy just went off. I think my cat just knocked into a toy. I'm like, what? There's some ghost in my house right now.
Spooky season.
Yeah, exactly. But I think for the coaches, they're not looking. They don't. I can almost guarantee you they don't care. They're looking at like we have players we need to evaluate, and that's what we're doing with these games.
And I feel like if we got knocked out against Vegas in a 7-game, the same way we lost to Dallas, like it was just one play. You can chalk it up to one goal. Like that was our problem. I think we'd be more confident in these Avalanche going forward. But the tail end of that Vegas series, they completely disappeared.
Yeah.
And you don't know. And a lot of those pieces have shifted. We lost Donskoy, and Belmar, 2 really heart and soul pieces of the team. And for the last time to see him, the Avalanche on the ice, they had no heart and soul. And we lose 2 heart and soul players. Like you really want to work on cohesion. And with everything feeling out of sorts and none of the goalies giving you help right now when it comes to these preseason games, it's causing a little concern. And what have you done for me lately when it comes to the fans?
It's a good point. Like if all they had lost was like Belmar, and Grubauer was back and Saad was back, and they didn't lose, and this was happening, I'd be like, whatever. It don't matter. Just get me to the regular season. But this is on the lower end. This is a newer team. Mm-hmm. So all of these moving pieces in the preseason it kind of surprised me. Yeah, in the beginning I expected it, but it's almost like I thought as it would get a little bit closer, and the way that it's been going, I thought they would kind of maybe put your who you expect your team to be at the forefront. And I think they're staying the course and staying like, no, this is an evaluation process. Preseason is preseason, doesn't mean squat. And they're going to stick to that rule, which is the right way to do it. I'm just talking from a fan perspective. Go out and win these games. Damn
it. and somebody just needs to tell management the 72, 11, and 28 that's skating around on the ice are not who you think they are.
Exactly. Because especially the 72. That one's taking the 11 too, but you're seeing 72 out there a lot more than the 11. So you always have to quickly nope, that is not him anymore. So all right, let's hear from Built Bar, and it is the best tasting protein bar in the market. Are you all out, Kyle?
Absolutely.
You're out. So Kyle needs a refill. So he can choose from the flavors such as coconut, cherry barcia. I like that one. Raspberry. So good. It is a great one. Mint brownie, strawberry, orange. And if you can't pick just one flavor, you can get a mixed box where you get 2 of each of 9 flavors. And not only are Built Bar flavors the best tasting, but they are healthy. They have 17 to 18 grams of protein. Calories range from 130 to 180. Only 4 or 5 grams of sugar and only 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. Amazing flavors, all tasty and all healthy. Go to BuiltBar.com right now. Use the promo code LOCKED15 and you get 15% off of your order. Once again, that promo code is LOCKED15 for 15% off at BuiltBar.com. Also, betonline.ag, and the football season is back and better than ever. And get in on some action with betonline.ag. It's the #1 spot for all your pro and college football action. Kyle is a Auburn man.
Sure am. And a Tennessee Titan.
And a Tennessee Titan. I wouldn't admit
Yeah.
that, dude. You might want to hold off on that one for another week or so.
Yeah. That was rough.
Yes, it was. So with a new updated site and interface, even more odds, prop bets, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up, and you'll receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use the promo code Locked On. From football, basketball, boxing, hockey, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your sports, and it's betonline.ag where the game starts. All right, so the Avalanche are playing right now. Have they scored? I don't think so. I think it's still 2-0. And there's less than 4 minutes left. So unless they pull off some sort of miracle, and I want to know if Kemper's played the entire game. So that's good, I guess. He's getting some at least minutes in. He's getting his legs,
and held it at 2-0.
Yeah, right. I'd be fine with this. With your regular team, hold them to 2 points. I have all the confidence in the world we can score 3, 4, 5 points a game. But they are playing this game without Jared Bednar because he tested positive for COVID. The team is 100%. I think they are. I don't know if they ever announced that. I remember Bednar saying that they can't announce that they're 100% until everybody has taken their second shot.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had taken their first. So they couldn't announce they're 100% until everybody had taken their second. And he said by opening day, everyone will have had taken their second. And I don't remember an announcement saying that everyone had, but he was or is vaccinated and still got it, which can happen. But because he had it, hopefully his symptoms will be less and he won't be out for so long. He will be out for obviously he's out for this game. He will be out for the final game against Dallas, which is Saturday. And then you have their opening game on Wednesday. So I don't know what if you're vaccinated, the protocols were so long, but I would assume because he's vaccinated, if he can get a negative screening before Wednesday, he would be good to go. But if he's not, how much of an impact will that have? They're without their coach right now.
And we keep pointing fingers to that opening night game. It's a big deal. Like, it's a big team. You would like Bednar to be out there, especially if he's making the decisions with these lines. You would like him to be out there and get a feel for that if he needs to shift up something. He's really good at short shifting, double shifting. He's really good at calling those on the fly. And if he's not there, is Nolan Pratt good enough to do that? We'll find out.
I know. So, so we'll see. I'm sure we'll get an update on that, obviously, before the season starts. Makar seems to be, we mentioned him briefly in the last segment, but seems to be getting back on track. Hopefully he will play Sunday. And same thing with him. Like, I want him to get at least one game in. You don't want his first action and his first way to, shift of getting hit or games of getting hit is game number 1. You want to be comfortable knowing that, all right, I went through a preseason game and I can take some hits and I got to feel comfortable doing that. You don't want that, tiptoeing around in game number 1. You want to do that in the preseason and take your licks and be okay with it. So, and on top of that, again, do you have any concern about him? Even if he does get this one game in, even if he does play the one game against Dallas on Saturday, which he should, that's all he's going to have. Do you have concern that, it's going to take him some time just to get going?
Absolutely. Especially, we've mentioned it 100 times. Chicago is good, and it's going to be rough for his first on ice action. Will be Tays, Kane, Seth Jones. Like
Yeah.
that's a good welcome back, Cale Makar. I mean, you're going to really have to catch your feet. We're not going to see full Cale Makar until at least the third period, because that's going to be a huge adjustment.
Yeah. I don't know. We shall see. So, yeah, see, less than a week away, and we are back in action. So, I got your prediction on the season, right? Did you give me your what your Stanley Cup final is going to be? Because the next time you're on, and next Friday, we're going to be the season is going to be started. So if people know mine is Avalanche versus Islanders in the Stanley Cup final.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I think your final four is going to be exactly what you think it is. I think it's going to be Lightning and Islanders again, and the Islanders will get by them. And I think it'll be Vegas and Colorado, and that's exactly what Colorado wants. And I think they'll get by them.
That's interesting. I literally have the same prediction and for the Stanley Cup, and
Mm-hmm.
I've made it on other shows. So, but I do not have the Avalanche winning it this year.
Okay. Okay. So
I
you have
I have the Islanders hoisting the cup this year.
and did you pick in how many games?
Oh,
Or
this
no?
is going to be a 6 game.
Okay. See, I said Avs in 7. I think if
Okay.
those were two teams going against each other, I think that would go a full 7.
I feel
So
like it's going to be one of those that you kind of you get to the cup, you get past the second round, and the gas tank is empty again, and they get taken away in 6.
okay. And even if that happens, I think that'll be clearly upsetting for Avalanche fans to lose in the Stanley Cup final. But I think that will satisfy a lot of Avs fans to actually get to the Stanley Cup after losing in the second round for so many years, to finally get there and be able to watch them play in the Stanley Cup final. I think you're right. I think if they don't win it, in the long run, we'll be okay. It's going to hurt for a little while, but we'll be all right.
And I feel like the Avs are going to get there this year, not by skill alone. They're not getting to this point by skill. It's depth is what's going to get us here, because 82 games, everybody's getting accustomed to that. The West is going to cannibalize itself. We are at probably the deepest team in the NHL when it comes to talent. And I think that's going to be at our benefit towards the last quarter of the season.
Yeah, I think they're still the deepest team, but they're not as deep as last year.
No.
Which, and in saying that, it just makes you feel like, man, last year was the year to do it, because that was an insane team. That was an excellent team.
The thing is, the cap hasn't been friendly to everybody as well, and a lot of teams have had to shell out talent and contracts that they really wish they still had. So even with our little step back in depth, I think we're still deeper than everybody else.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, that'll do it for today and this week. So we'll be back Monday, talk about whatever happens on Saturday with their final preseason game. If you got any more updates on Coach Bednar and whatever else seems to happen over the weekend. So that's going to be it. Shaggy, throw out where they can find you.
You can find me at Shaggy Von Doom everywhere you look, Instagram and Twitter. You can find me also hosting here in Puckburg over on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. We have Mario Terabasi of Bleacher Nation Chicago. We talk Blackhawks on Saturday.
Ooh, okay. All right. That's coming out this Saturday, you said. That's this one?
Saturday. Yes.
Okay, good. All right, everybody. So thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen. Definitely head over to Locked On NHL for your second listen, because we are breaking down the divisions. Gil Martin from Locked On Islanders and I released it here for my show, the Central Division. And I think the Friday one is the Metropolitan Division, which is the last division to get their hosts on and talk about them. So a good collection of shows. Go there. You can even, they have a YouTube channel out as well. So if you want to watch them in video form, They should all be out now. So all 4 divisions have had their say. But that's going to be it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in once again. It's always appreciated. And we'll see everybody next week. Enjoy the weekend.